Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are going to dive into the exact steps to build your very own AI financial analyst from the ground up. If you've ever felt completely buried by the sheer volume of earnings reports, market trends, and SEC filings, well, you are in the right place. We are literally going to construct a digital colleague together.
So, I have to ask, are you actually ready to hire an AI portfolio manager? Are you truly ready to ditch those sprawling, fragile spreadsheets and stop spending hours manually reading through SEC filings? We're going to build a tireless, digital partner that works 24/7. And to be clear, we aren't just talking about a basic chatbot here. We're talking about an intelligent system tailored to your exact investing philosophy.
Mark Chuan really hit the nail on the head when he said, the real value of AI in investing isn't in clever prompts. It's in the context, in memory, in reflection. That is absolutely crucial. We aren't just firing off simple, isolated questions to a general model. We are engineering a highly contextual, memory-driven partner that learns your goals, understands your risk tolerance, and actually remembers your past decisions.
Okay, here's our blueprint for today. We'll kick things off with the AI analyst revolution. Tackle taming messy financial data, move on to wiring the agentic brain, discuss keeping the AI honest, and finally, deploying your financial Copilot. This will take us all the way from raw data ingestion to a fully deployed, hallucination-resistant Copilot.
Step 1 in our journey, the AI analyst revolution, and why we absolutely have to move beyond basic prompts. You know, when you ask a standard AI model to write a wealth management plan, you're basically asking one generalist to do everything in a single pass. But real investment decisions are layered, they're complex, and that's exactly where agentic workflows come in. Think of this like a real financial team. Instead of one person doing the whole job, you assign complex tasks to a team of specialized AI agents. One fetches market data, another analyzes macroeconomic trends, and another builds the portfolio. And they coordinate all of this through a shared memory, which we call state. To build this team, we have to start at the very beginning. Step 1 is laying the foundation, which means gathering and preparing our raw materials. Without good data ingestion, our agents are just flying blind. Which brings us right into Section 2, taming messy financial data, taking it all the way from clunky PDFs to clean JSON. Look, financial data is notoriously messy. It's locked in complex 10K PDFs and massive nested tables that just completely break traditional parsers. Now, traditional B-tree databases are great for exact matches, brute force operations, and range queries. But for this, we need high-dimensional vector databases. They're built for semantic similarity search. They embed financial time series so you can actually find hidden market patterns. For example, you can query a vector database for securities that behave like a specific mid-cap industrial stock during a downturn, rather than just matching a rigid sector code. It's a completely different way to search.
But how do we actually get those messy PDFs into our database in the first place? Well, tools like LlamaParse solve this extraction problem beautifully. It uses layout-aware extraction to preserve the exact reading order of multi-column statements. It can even look at a multimodal chart in an investor deck and convert it straight into structured markdown. The output is clean, verifiable JSON complete with page-level citations. Plus, it runs its own agentic validation loops to self-correct common errors, like missing negative signs or misread digits. It literally turns messy filings into computable data.
So, foundation laid? Check. Data cleanly extracted and embedded? Check. Step 2 is wiring the brain so our system can actually coordinate and reason. Let's dive into Section 3, wiring the agentic brain for routing and memory. You basically have two dominant approaches when it comes to building this brain. On one side, you have LangGraph, which uses a Python-based graph architecture of nodes and edges, sharing memory through a state dictionary. It's incredibly visual and gives you great low-level control. On the other side, the OpenAI Assistance API uses managed threads and leverages parallel function calling and a code interpreter. Both of these allow you to orchestrate highly specialized parallel agents. The right choice really just depends on how much granular control you want over the exact routing logic.
Now here's an absolute eureka moment insight from a developer on Reddit. A single standard vector search completely fails when you use it on SEC filings. You absolutely need a multi-route RAG architecture. Think about it. If you ask for a specific revenue number, it routes to a metric lookup pulling exact numbers from XBRL via SQL. Want multi-year trends? It routes to time series. Need a balance sheet? It renders the full statement. Asking about key risk factors? That routes to a narrative vector search. The AI brain intelligently categorizes your question and picks the exact right tool for the job. You can even run hybrid routes combining relational and vector search.
Okay, we've got a highly intelligent, multi-routed brain built. Step 3 is installing the security system, which means adding the strict guardrails required for high-stakes finance.
Moving on to Section 4, keeping the AI honest and mitigating risk.
Because in finance, a hallucinated number isn't just a funny AI quirk, it's a total disaster. We have to enforce absolute factual integrity. EY actually uses a brilliant enterprise-grade mitigation pipeline for this. It's an end-to-end flow of prompt-side controls for reliable generation. It starts with structured prompting to constrain the AI's scope, uses evidence-aware decoding, and most importantly, applies rigorous post-generation verification to ensure the model isn't just making things up.
Let's look a bit closer at those post-generation verification rules. The AI performs claim extraction, parsing sentences into factual triples to check against sources. It enforces strict citations, meaning every single fact must link to an authoritative document. And here's the golden rule: abstention. If the system cannot find a source, it is programmed to refuse to answer. It will literally tell you, "I do not have enough information." It also runs contradiction detection, which is huge. It'll flag you if the text narrative says revenue grew, but the actual structured XBRL numbers show it fell.
We've built the data pipeline, we've wired the agents, and we've locked in the safety checks. Step 4 is finally handing over the keys.
Section 5. Deploying your financial Copilot exactly where the analysts live.
Here's a hard truth from the folks at Delupa. Financial analysis infrastructure exists to serve analysts, and analysts live in Excel. It's just a fact. The most sophisticated embedding pipeline in the world delivers absolutely zero value if it doesn't reach the place where you actually make financial decisions. To drive real adoption, your AI has to integrate natively into the spreadsheets you already use, whether that's through APIs or the new Model Context Protocol. The AI needs to pull its insights, its vector similarity searches, and perfectly parsed tables directly into your existing models.
So what does this deployed digital colleague actually look like in action? Well, you can ask it to track your portfolio allocation and suggest rebalancing based on your specific goals. You can have it instantly build a 3-scenario, bull, base, and bear model for a specific asset based on macro trends. It can discover hidden correlations using those behavioral vector embeddings we talked about. It can even act as your psychological coach, drafting conviction logs to remind you why you bought an asset so you don't panic sell during a dip. Plus, it can summarize macro events and immediately cross-check them against your personal strategy. It becomes a completely personalized sounding board.
We've gone through the entire blueprint. Your digital colleague is built, wired, and deployed. It has memory, context, and rigorous fact-checking. The only question left is, what will its first assignment be? I really challenge you to take these steps, leverage these frameworks, and start building your own AI investment advisor today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy building!